Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. I've got an early start today, so I won't be able to go down to the Circular Quay and Harbourside. So what we'll do is we'll do a walk and talk, and I'll head down George Street and try and pump out a book summary for today, just to get us started and to click those numbers along. So today what I've chosen to do is to do a book summary on a book called Upheaval. Upheaval, and it's written by Jared Diamond. And this book takes an interesting look at how we can solve problems faced by countries, as well as problems faced by individuals. And he comes up with a 12 factors model approach, 12 things that we can think about and look at that'll help us identify and evaluate a problem and peel the onion and hopefully come to a suitable solution. So the key theme to this book is basically learning how to identify and implement a technique called selective change, where you identify a problem and figure out how to solve it by just looking at things that need to be changed, because we don't need to make wholesale changes to ourselves or to our environment or to the people around us. We just basically need to fine-tune, is what the author is suggesting. Fine-tune the things that'll deliver the greatest impact. So let's just go through the 12 factors one by one, and we'll see where it leads us on this beautiful day. Just looking up in the sky there, it just looks a bit overcast, so we're back to overcast. We're back to overcast Sydney. We had one or two pretty sunny days, and it doesn't take much to steal that blue sky away, unfortunately. But that's Sydney during summer, and Sydney will never be Greece when it comes to summer. So let's go through the 12 factors one by one, and just chat about each of the factors as we get through them. So the first factor that Jared Diamond talks about is the fact that we need to first see and acknowledge the problem. One of the big challenges that most people face in their lives is they don't even know that they have a problem. So if you don't know that you've got a problem, then obviously you're not going to be looking for solutions, and you're not going to be interested in advice. Look at that pretty sky down there. A lot of nice pink crimson cloud on the horizon. Absolutely beautiful. So the first thing is to acknowledge and to realise that we've got a problem is step number one. The second step is, once you've acknowledged and realised that you've got a problem, then you need to take responsibility for solving that problem. You can't delegate that responsibility to somebody else. You need to first of all take personal responsibility to making sure that you'll do whatever it needs to happen to solve your problem. So acknowledge the problem, and then decide to do something about the problem. And that requires personal leadership and taking responsibility. Then the third item is probably the most critical, the most important item to talk about and consider, and that is of selective change, because the author says that we don't need to change everything. So what you need to do is you need to be honest and have a deep look at your situation and see what needs to be changed around you, or whether or not you need to make changes to yourself in order to solve the problem. And once you've decided what specifically needs to be changed, then you need to reach out and seek help from somebody who's in a better position to help you. So we need to acknowledge and understand that there are things that we can do, and there are many things that we can do to solve our personal problems or our country's problems, but also we need to get help from others who are in a better position to help us. The other thing we need to do is we need to look around and to identify other people's experience, because usually the problems that we face individually and as a country, other people have faced as well. So don't just think that you're the only one experiencing this problem and you're the only one that's ever had this problem. Chances are that other people are going through the same problems, the same challenges that you are at the moment. So it's important just to look up and look around and see what you can do to solve the problem by finding other people who have similar problems. So buddying up with other people. The sixth item on the list here is that you need to recognise and celebrate your identity, and not to think that you are different from other people and that you're not worthy of changing. So recognising your identity is another critical point to make, and it's important for a country to recognise their identity, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to make changes which will change your identity, or change your identity in a way which becomes unrecognisable and something that you're not happy with, because you need to make sure that the self-image, the identity that you have, is something that you appreciate, you look up to, and it's something that you're not going to be disappointed at if you make any changes and all of a sudden realise that, hey, I don't recognise this person, I don't recognise this identity, or I don't accept this identity more so than anything else. So an important sort of consideration that we need to recognise our identity and embrace our identity, because it's needed. It's needed in order to change. The seventh point that the author has asked us to consider and look at is we need to make an honest self-appraisal. We need to look at ourselves and make an honest self-appraisal, as they say. So you need to take a deep look inside and try and assess and determine what makes you tick and what you're happy with and what you're not happy with. The author then talks about the importance of looking into your past and just seeing what you've done in the past to help solve your problems. Because we all have a number of, we've got a library of solutions that have worked for us in the past for various problems, and we need to look into that library and seek solutions from that inventory that we have in our own past. So and that is very, very empowering to think about it that way. That over a lifetime we've had many challenges and problems, and we've been able to solve them. So to embolden ourselves to remember that we are capable, we are worthy of directing our path and solving our problems. The ninth item on the list is that we need to be patient. Change can happen in an instant, there's no doubt about it. But implementing change needs patience, because you need to stick to it and continue doing it for a long time in order for it to become a habit and for you to be comfortable with it, and for it to then become an automatic response that you don't have to keep on thinking about or worrying about over and over again. And whilst it's important to be patient, you also need to learn to be flexible in your approach, so that you can stick to the path and continue along the way there to achieve your outcomes. Because as we've learnt time and time again, if you're too rigid in your response, or too rigid in the way you think about things or the way you do things, then you're going to have hurdles thrown in your way, which are going to trip you up. And if you can't move over them, under them, around them, or through them, then that may hinder your progress and impact your motivation and your focus. So we need to be flexible in our approach. That's for our personal problems as well as for the national problems that we face. We also need to look at our core values and just make sure that whatever changes we make are aligned to our core values and are not incongruent. Because once again, if what we're doing is incongruent and not aligned to our core values, then we're going to have cognitive dissonance, which is not going to allow us to want to make that change, or at least want to stick to that change. And the last thing is to look at ourselves once we're making those changes and that we're changing, and to try and assess it. What is difficult about making change? Why is it difficult? And to address those difficulties, because there will be some lingering and some lingering hindrances and some challenging sort of feelings that we need to be aware of and address. So the author talks about the importance of re-looking and continuing to focus on the change and making sure that what we're doing continues and we follow through and make it happen. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this pink sunrise morning. It looks like that sun may burn off that cloud this morning, so I'll come to you again at about 10 o'clock with another Jim's 5am Club, and we'll see whether or not the sun has had the ability to burn off that cloud. But thank you very much for joining me on Jim's 5am Club, and let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, stay reasonable. And let's try and help ourselves. Let's try and help others get over and through their problems by at least acknowledging that there is a system, there is a process, and we need to trust the process. And this process comes from the book entitled Upheaval from Jared Diamond, where he gives us 12 factors or 12 steps in terms of working out and dealing with problems and coming up with hopefully suitable solutions. So thank you very much again for joining me, and I look forward to coming to you again. It's another beautiful day to be alive, and we'll chat later. I'm heading off to work now. I've got an earlier start, and we'll see where this day leads us, and hopefully it'll be another day of living, learning, where we can also pass on our knowledge as well as our encouragement to those around us. Take care. Good lucky from Jim's 5am Club, and we'll chat again. Ciao and bye for now.